Good morning, Grace Tribe. You guys let me know that we are loud and clear. It's always a little bit of a question mark on Monday morning. I am so excited to get to see you guys. Isla's got the guitars going with the music. I like that. Hey there, Rob, with a Here We Go. Great to see you. Neil, great to see you, my sometimes guest co-host. So excited that you are here with us this morning. My friends, you and I are dissatisfied with the rhythm of the world. You and I, in Christ, are liking and being inspired by some of the things that we see from the world, but they never quite seem to work for us. Maybe you have noticed that the rhythm of the world doesn't fit. The hustle, the demands, the promises, the stylized beer commercial kind of life is not for you. Sorry, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but what the world promises will never work for you. I know it looks like it's working for them, but the best they can do is fake it. It's the closest they can imagine of real peace. It is never going to work for you. It's just not going to work. You've tried to keep pace with it before. You've been inspired by worldly methods to worldly ends, and it never rests. I want to talk this week about living a life on the upbeat. Maybe you've been at church or at a concert or listen to the radio, and it just doesn't seem right. People are singing along the song going do 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 do, and you want to go do 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 do. You want to clap on the upbeat. You want to walk to a slightly different rhythm, but you don't want to be out of pace with the song. My friends, you were made to live not trying to grind out a rhythm, but to swing along with the life of Christ in you. You are meant to swim against the current, but not fight the current of the culture of this world. There's a difference. Being countercultural is not screaming at the culture. Living from a different source isn't beating people over the head with the truth. You cannot make the worldly methodology work. Christ did not save you to become the source of a worldly promise, but a divine promise. Right now, right here, today, you get to live in the solace of swinging along with Jesus. You get to live on 2 and 4. You get to play this life on the upbeat. You've probably noticed that the rhythm doesn't fit you. I know there's a famous song. If you're as old as me, you've heard the song, "The Rhythm Is Gonna Get You." It got all of us, but it doesn't suit all of us. It's not that the rhythm is going to get you, my friends. It's that we keep trying to believe what the world is trying to sell. And the rhythm that's going to get you is the rhythm that doesn't fit you. And you keep thinking that God's going to make it work for you. And he's inviting you into a different syncopated step with the world. You are still walking through this world, but you're doing it in a different time, a different paradigm, a different rhythm to the same song. They are not hearing what you're hearing. They are not dancing as you're dancing. They are marching to the music that you get to swing to. You get to live a syncopated, on the upbeat kind of life. And it is so much better when you're not grinding out the steps on the beat, but instead are swinging along with Jesus. I want to talk about that different drumness of living life playing on 2 and 4. So all this week, we're going to talk about it in general today, and we're going to talk about some specific examples of that throughout the rest of the week. You are not meant to be living either against the current or with the current, but counter to the current. It's not supposed to be harder. It's just not going with the flow. You have a flow of your own. You have a spiritually driven swing to life that keeps you from having, not to make the world work your way, but to keep it from you needing it to. What if you don't need to make the world work your way because you're already okay in Jesus? This is going to be a great little series of talks. I love not only the analogy of a syncopated life, I think there's a deep truth hidden in that analogy that we often don't hit on in any other way. So I circle back to this kind of artistic paradigm several times a year. I was going to say pretty frequently, but there's this recurring innate artfulness to your life. And I think God has given us artistic paradigm so that we can understand something about the creator's life, the artist's life, with you as the masterpiece. So all that to say, I'm really glad you're here. I think we're going to have a blast. Hope you have something cozy to drink and are ready to dive in together to starting to see today what we're talking about by a syncopated life, and then what that looks like for your peace, for your joy, for your purposefulness in this life. And we're going to look at more specific examples throughout the week. Today, we're going to lay that groundwork. And my friends, the good life is not Jesus giving you a better worldly life. It's you living in the free-flowing joy and power and rhythm of an upbeat. I don't mean positive, but life on the upbeat, life on 2 and 4 instead of 1 and 3. At the very least, you got to learn to waltz, right? At the very least, we're going to swing the waltz. We'll talk about what that means a little bit, but I'm really glad you're here. Jesus is leading you into a different kind of dance. The pace of the rhythm might seem very similar, but you are dancing to a different rhythm than the world is marching. We're going to talk about it today. I'm really glad you're here. Let's do this. Awakening souls to our life in Christ. My name is Mike Q. Daniel, and we are celebrating all that we have in Christ Jesus by grace. Be sure to share your questions or prayer requests at MikeQDaniel.com. And I want to welcome you to Mike Q. Daniel Live with the Grace Tribe. Woohoo! Good morning, Grace Tribe. Listen, you have probably noticed that the rhythm of the world doesn't fit. And you think that God is going to empower you to be a better dancer to outdance the world. My friends, you are not dancing with the world. You are not dancing with the world. You have tried to keep pace with the world that never rests. It never rests. The drums of this world are urgency and comparison, and they just keep thundering on, and you run to the measure that they're preaching until the song itself begins to ache. It's like you're pretending to march along to their music and your feet begin to hurt. The song itself hurts your heart. And everyone is smiling and moving forward. You're wondering why this doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for them either. But hear me, the song of the world works less for you than it does for them. There's no greater travesty than a believer trying to live along the pace and rhythm of the world. You sense it, the strain of a rhythm that was never meant for you. It's not that you're failing to keep time. It's not that you're less adequate than every other world-walking, woesome human. It's that the time you keep simply belongs to another kingdom. It's like you get to listen to a symphony that is going at the same time as the world, right? The beats land on the same beat. it's in 4/4 and the measure takes the same amount of time, but you never can quite clap with the rest of the world because the song is not the same as what they're marching to. You're dancing with the Spirit. It really does. The time you keep belongs to another kingdom. You were fashioned, my friend, for a quieter cadence, one that's set by the indwelling life of Christ. And the world can't hear it, and they can't follow it. And too many Christians are trying to get Jesus to lead them in a dance that the world is dancing. And it doesn't work. It never works. We aspire to keep pace, like we're inspired by the successes and comparisons of the world. And we think, well, maybe we can do it. Maybe I can make it work. God bless my worldly effort. We aspire to win the worldly dance, to keep the worldly pace. But in you and in me, we long for an easier rhythm without running behind. We are trying to keep rhythm with them, and it never quite works. Well, it doesn't work for them either. You are hearing the cultural beat of the sum of the failed marching of a million people. They're not keeping beat either. There's just an average attempt, and us trying to meet the average never works. Us trying to beat the average never works. Our aspiring to be better world dancers never works. The noise of the modern age cannot command a heart that is already tuned to an eternal rhythm, tuned to eternity. The noise of the modern age cannot command a heart that is already tuned to eternity. It's you. You've been tuned to eternity, and you never quite feel in tune with the world. You never quite feel in rhythm to their march. And it's because you are meant for a syncopated life. It's like doing the oompas of the tuba on the downbeat. Bump, 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 bump. That's syncopated. Bump, 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 bump. That's 1 and 3. Friends don't let friends clap on 1 and 3. My friend, you and I, probably much like me, you have learned the choreography of worldliness, right? Productivity. Appear busy, appear strong, appear certain, be more efficient, do the essential things, and then you won't be exhausted by the non-essential things. Yet beneath that practiced smile of doing a little better, hoping to gain a little more, avoid a little more, stay out of trouble, trouble a little less. Beneath all of that beats a longing for stillness. Every on-beat of worldly culture exhausts your soul. The fact that some have greater competency for the worldly march and some have lesser competency for the worldly march becomes irrelevant when your heart is tuned to an eternal symphony. Neither of us, the competent or incompetent in the world, were made for worldly rhythms. Every forced steps. Good at it, we would call positive flesh. Not very good at it and playing the victim. I can't help it. I don't have good worldly rhythm. I didn't have as good of opportunity. Nobody ever taught me to do these things. I'm running behind all the time. Being off rhythm is not the same as being in a syncopated rhythm. Every forced step feels foreign. Grinding out one step after another, trying to keep pace with a world that can't keep pace with itself. It was never meant to be like this. It feels foreign. It feels awkward. It feels forced because it is. Does this resonate with you? The forced fake rhythms of beer commercial culture doesn't work for anyone, but it works least of all for you. You were made for presence, not performance. for trust, not tension, right? Engaging in intimate fellowship, not winning, for love, not leveraging everything. You were made for a different rhythm. And when you cease trying to repair the world's rhythm or repair you to fit the world's rhythm, you begin to hear another rhythm, the steady pulse of the spirit within you. And the pulse of the spirit within doesn't create this constant, fleeting conflict with the world. Peter didn't walk on the water by beating down the waves. He wasn't in conflict with the waves. They just become less relevant. You were made for peace. You were made for a rhythm of rest. You were made for the easy, swinging spiritual reality of syncopated life. We do not mirror the world's chaos. You don't try to do what's killing them better. We bear heaven's quiet reply to that resounding march. We answer the turmoil with peace, the conflict with compassion. Because we're not in the conflict, we're outside the conflict with it all around us. You can be outside, you're in the world, but you're not of the world, right? We're amidst the conflict, but not ourselves in conflict. We're in compassion. We respond to the conflict with compassion, the fear with the calm joy of the one who cannot be hurried. The world is faking calmness while panicked, and you cannot make that faux calm work for you. You are dissatisfied with the whole self-improvement paradigm, with the almost enough, gonna get there tomorrow paradigm. The making life work doesn't work for you. It works least for you. Aren't you tired of trying to get just the right combination, find just the right nuance, find just the right balance of everything that the world is promising, from social media marketing to gaining influence with the people around you, to causing your needs to be met by just getting a little bit more on 3 different side hustles and 6 different ways of starting conversations? Go and watch YouTube for 10 minutes, and it is nothing but self-helpy and consumerism striving. March better by doing things my way. You, my friend, get to find the eternal rhythm within. It's surrounded by, but not part of, the plodding, cumbersome clunkiness of the chaos around you. The Eastern mystic, right? All of the Eastern mysticism that's become sort of countercultural to the culture. There's the hustle culture, and then there's the Eastern mystic culture. The Eastern mystic erroneously pursues mindfulness and peace. I am not prescribing that you go after mindfulness and peace, but the one who produces it. The Eastern methodology, the Eastern mystic, the minimalist mindset, which is just a Western response to Eastern mysticism, they have a sense of the error of hustle culture, of striving, of not being good enough, because nothing is ever good enough. We're looking in the wrong place. You can never make that widget fit no matter what you do. So the Eastern mystic has a sense of that error without the source for the solution. Pursuing peace never gets you to peace. Peace finds you. We find the breath, the upbeat of true syncopated life as the fruit of divine relationship, not by pursuing peace, but knowing him who is our peace, engaging with him who doesn't fix our hustle, but removes us from the culture. The mystic tries to stop following the world's flow. Well, at least they recognize they shouldn't be following the world's flow, but trying to put brakes on the pace of the world's march doesn't work either. It just recognizes the problem. Well, good on them. But instead of trying to stop following the world's flow, good luck. They get caught in the current of another worldly flow, a countercultural flow. Instead, we just follow the Spirit's lead through the current, through the current. What if there's a current that's going through the countercultural current? John quoted Jesus in John 17. He said, "You're not of the world. Stop trying to make the world work for you. My friends, you are not of this world." Just let that sit. I know you've heard it before. You've been around churchianity at all. You've heard you're not of this world. Most churches, most religiosity turns around and tells you, so go out there and fight the world. I am not telling you to fight the world. That is not your battle. Just don't get caught in its current. You're not of the world, even as I am not of the world, Jesus said. You're no more a part of this place than me, and he made it. He just wasn't going to get caught in the quicksand of cultural calamity. Paul wrote to the Galatians in chapter 5. He already told them that they were in Christ and Christ was doing the living through them, that their job was to let. Doesn't that sound easier? Instead of live better, how about let Jesus? He already did all of that. And then he said, it's for freedom that you've been set free. Why are you using your freedom to try to make the slavery, the bondage, the corruption, the chaos of the world work better for you? Since you've been set free, hey, how about just living free? And then he comes to Galatians 5:25 and he says, since we live by the Spirit, since his breath fills your lungs, since you are living from heavenly sufficiency, since you live by the Spirit, let's not start getting in step with the world. Let's stop trying to make the worldly rhythm work. Since you live by the Spirit, let us keep in step. Let us keep in step with the Spirit. God has not empowered you to a better worldly life. God is not empowering you to a better worldly life. He has set you free. And since you have his life in you, how about we keep in step with his life? Don't you feel the call of an upbeat? I don't mean enthusiastic. I mean off the rhythm of the world. Not by doing it better than everybody else, but not having to. Colossians 3, Paul wrote to the church in Colossae that was striving to make all of their paganism and ritualism and even Judaism and Gnosticism, they were trying to come up with a methodology to make life work. And he said in Colossians 3:15, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Who sets the rhythm for you today? In the hustle culture, in the victimization culture, in the get it done productivity self-help culture. Let the peace, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. That's not trusting him by religious humanism, trying to get God to do what you want in the worldly circumstances that you think you need. You're freer than that, my friends. Jesus told the disciples before he took off and sent the Spirit, he said, my yoke, you're going to know me because my yoke is easy. And my burden is light. You will recover your life in me. That's what he's saying. You're going to find it in me, not me making it easier for you to cause it in your circumstances. The Spirit's breath, my friends, keeps time within you, and it is slower. You know, you can pant to the same rhythm that I can breathe slowly. Keeping time with the world just creates hyperventilated Christians. Grace does not polish up the world's tempo. It's not breathing deeper in the same panic. Grace replaces it with the heartbeat of heaven. The world says, earn your worth, earn your outcomes, cause what you need. Religion says that you can cause God to meet your needs your way. You can cause God to earn your worth from worldliness. Grace whispers, you already belong. The world rushes, grace rests. Sense the difference right now. Just think about your weekend and your week ahead and your calendar right now. The world rushes, grace rests. The world consumes, needy, and then placate, or self-soothe. It goes from hyper productivity that doesn't work to the stress that failure causes and striving causes, to self-soothing in reckless and harmful behaviors. The world says, earn, grace whispers, you already belong. The world rushes and grace rests. The world consumes, grace gives. Grace affords a lavish life, a paradigm shift. I'm not talking about a quantity. I'm talking about a paradigm shift. If you're not lavish with your $2, you're not going to be lavish with 2 million. You're not. The world consumes, grace gives. The world demands, Christ indwells and overflows. There's a flow to the rhythm of the Spirit within you, and we're trying to bang out the rhythm of the world using the Spirit's sufficiency, and it never suits you. You know it doesn't. You might still like the promise of the world and hope that God will make you better at it. You might still be putting your hope into that positive flesh religiosity, but I'm here to tell you, it will never satisfy you. And most of you who are watching this channel, catching these podcasts, most of you have already given up on that. I'm just wanting to encourage you that you're not living without a rhythm by giving up on the world's pace. You are living by a different indwelling spiritual rhythm of divine breath. You don't fix the downbeat or fix yourself better to it. You let heaven's pulse answer to you as you respond to his leading instead of the world's demands. What would it look like for heaven's pulse as you trust Christ in you to respond to the world's demands? It's not opting out. It's responding to him instead. There's no one that you love that he doesn't love more. There's no plan that you have that he hasn't accommodated in his. Are you spending a life trying to make the downbeat work? Boom, 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 trying to march with the world? Are you enjoying a life lived on the upbeat, on 2 and 4? To live on the upbeat is to remember that the life within you is unhurried, even when the chaos of the world is demanding you get it done. Only Christ can meet the demands that he never meant for you to meet for him or for others, or even for yourself. The peace of Christ has already taken up residence in your soul. There is no Selah by getting done the demands of the world quicker. Come on, let that hit you. There is no rest. There is no solace. There is no stillness by just being so productive that you find extra time and margin. You choose it now. Nothing outside of you has the right to set your heart's tempo. Nothing outside of you has the right to set the tempo of your heart. To woo you into worldliness, to skip the sufficiency of his grace. We're afraid that following Jesus will fall short in worldly demands, to which I think Christ would reply, don't you know me? You're trying to make the tree of the knowledge of good and evil work, and you've been set free and given the fruit of the tree of life in Christ in you. So today, friends, dare to enjoy the upbeat of the spiritual rhythm of life in you. It is not fighting the flow of worldly faux effort, faux godliness. It's just walking in the narrower current of Christ as your life. It is countercultural, but it's not overcoming the culture. That's not your job. Christ didn't overthrow Caesar. You're not trying to overthrow politics. Maybe you're freer than that. Maybe you get to live in a way that is countercultural, not overthrow the culture. Love people. Watch the effect that the truth in love has. Watch the effect that living by grace has. Watch the effect of you flowing in the fullness of Christ, contrary to the chaotic demands of the world around you. Just watch who gets caught in the spiritual current of divine life in and through you. Today, will you dare to trade the I have to's for I get to's? The I should for I'm free to. I should pray more. Well, so what? Everyone should pray more. And there is no enough. How about you're free to pray more? I can. Instead of I must. I get to instead of I have to. How about you trade prove it or just trust him? How about you trade keep up for walking together with him? Keeping in step with the one who's in step with you and in you and breathing through you. When the world beats that drum of demand, boo, 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 do, do, do. And they put a smiley face on it, but the same smiley face also is sort of the wine mom face. And it's the beer commercial face of going, hey, you're bigger than the world. You're overcoming everything. Now it's wine time. Now it's, getting together with your buddies in being the alpha male. It's all of the stupid, faux, fake. No one is succeeding at that life. The ones that are better looking at it are striving harder and more exhausted. To be more competent in the world is to be more exhausted than those who have already given up making the world work. When the world beats the drum of demand, remember, you are already complete in him. You don't have to compete with some picture of what the world is supposed to look like when you're winning. You're already complete. You're already victorious. The fullness that you seek is not ahead of you over the next hill if you just conquer it quick enough. It's already within you, so you don't have to be the conqueror. You're the conqueror in his already won victory. Let the indwelling Christ carry the tune of every moment. And in the chaos and in the strife and in the heartache that is going to come. We're not pretending there's no grief. We're not pretending there is no demands of the world. We're just not pretending you're going to be good enough and I'm going to be good enough to be the ones that meet it. You get to hope anyway, not pretend to hope. You get to love anyway, not act like you love and hope God changes something. You get to grace anyway. You get to grace anyway. That's countercultural life. While the world marches and pretends to know how to corral the life that they want by consuming more and striving more and faking more, The Spirit swings easy and says, watch this, and then leads you to do the very thing he's showing you. Let peace, let Christ, let the word reign. Let's reflect on this a little bit. You ready? You with me? Those of you listening on the podcast or watching live or watching the rerun later, where are you today, right now, still striving to keep time with the world's rhythm? Where are you hoping to find some methodology for increased productivity that will cause you to be better by some fake comparison, fake success, fake measurement? Trying to keep time with the world's rhythm. If I just can do it a little bit better, then I'll get a little bit further and I win. Where are you trying to appear in sync? To get in better sync? When, my friends, your heart already knows the eternal, divine, sufficient song of Christ's life. You're not in a dance competition. You're just out there enjoying life with Jesus. It's not going to fix everything in a broken and fallen world. It's not going to go without loss and heartache. Trust me. Physical pain in a fleeting worldly paradigm. Trust me. But you're not living according to that either. The enemy wants to use the fallenness of the world to force you into a religious, or it's still religious, a cultural paradigm, whether it's secular humanism or religious humanism. You are freer than that. You are not behind. You're just never going to walk according to the fake worldly rhythm that no one is making work. Your heart already knows another song. You're a little afraid to choose stillness unless it's the methodology for hyper productivity. Ask the Spirit to let you hear his pulse beneath the noise today. Spirit, let me hear your pulse in my heart beneath the noise of the culture around me today. Let me live today from that holy, unhurried life from you within. You can move fast and be unhurried. I'm not telling you to stand in the middle of traffic and make them all go around you and hope everything's going to be okay. Move, do. But just realize you're in step with the syncopated countercultural life of spiritual sufficiency. It's different. The Spirit might dance at a fast pace, but it's not going to be on the downbeat of cultural marching, but syncopated spiritual swing. It's a whole lot easier when he leads. He can swing you around as fast as he wants. You don't have to be dodging everybody on the dance floor. Let him lead you. It is a holy, unhurried life within. Where are you in the cusp of panic? That's not God. As you do. You're not trying to manage your sin better to earn more favor. You're walking in step with the Spirit within you who leads you to live holy, righteous, generous, grace-filled, love-giving, compassionate fruit of the Spirit in other people's lives. It's fruitful relationship, not Eastern mystic emptiness or countercultural denial or cultural overcoming. You're going to do what the world does, but better because of Jesus. Stop it. You're trying to play by rules in a game you're no longer part of. You get to live today from the holy, unhurried solace of the indwelling Spirit that's always going to be on the upbeat. as you do, you will know him by his syncopated heart in you. You will grow in grace of letting him lead as you depend upon him. And as you know him by his different rhythm, the I don't need to make that work for me rhythm of this life. And you grow in grace as you depend upon him and let him lead. You hear his heart, you know him more. You grow in grace as you let him lead. And go love from the easy sufficiency against the cultural current, but not trying to overcome the current. You're neither for the current or against the current. You're just countercultural to the current. You're counter to the current. It's a different kind of life. Stop trying to make religion work. Stop trying to make the world work. Stop living as a consumer of things that make up for your failure to make life work. You neither have to cause it nor escape from it. You get to flow in the fullness of Christ despite the chaos around you. And we're going to look at some specific examples. We're going to look at consumer and materialistic paradigms that fit neither your soul in this world nor in the spirit. We're going to look at real peace amidst very real chaos. It's just not defining you chaos. We're going to look at what it might mean for you to do that in some specific areas of the demands of the world that only Christ can answer. And instead of echoing the resounding march of worldly demands, you get to live in the upbeat 2 and 4 syncopated life of the divine empowerment that is still in the flow of the worldly current, but is not going with the flow of the world. It starts with the difference in you, and it creates a whole different paradigm of what it looks like for you to move among those you are not of. There's more. Share your questions, share your thoughts, put something in the comments that lets me know that this makes sense, but you don't get this, or I like that idea, but I don't know how to make that work, or I have glimpses of that sometimes, but it can suck me into Eastern mystical, minimalistic. Maybe I just need to have less in my life to manage, and that would make it all better. That there's this paradigm that I want to take hold of, but it seems elusive. Let me know where that is. Let me know what that question looks like. We'll address those things this week as we have opportunity. I trust what God is doing in your heart, and I think this syncopated life resonates with the spirit in you. Let it start unraveling the faux thinking that you wish would work, but I'm telling you, it's never going to work. You can let it go. You can let the spirit disentangle you from that cultural paradigm. The religious effort you're putting in is not a means to the worldly success that you've been promised. You get it better than that. And it's not the same kind of life. It's a different way of living for a different kind of life that's really the fulfillment of real life in spiritual syncopation with Jesus. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.